Well, first off, apologies to Rapid Kirby 3K for the delay on this request. First, I've just been very busy with requests. I'm trying to do the best that I can, but I appreciate your kindness and your patience as well as other people. You guys have been very patient. I 100% appreciate that. Also, when I saw what the movie was, I'm like, I had to gear myself up for it because, first off, to go through, if anyone wants to request any type of movie review, re-review, tier list, ranking, video game playthrough for an hour, a full playthrough, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, topics, whatever the case may be, PayPal is the best way to do it. Do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. For those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it. Now, with that said, Holmes and Watson. I've said it before, I am not a big Will Ferrell fan. I did not like his stuff on SNL. There's other people I liked on SNL before him. The years before him, Adam Sandler, Chris Farley, David Spade, even Phil Hartman, and of course years before that, Eddie Murphy, Bill Murray, Belushi. But Will Ferrell, his skits and stuff was never my cup of tea. Movie-wise, are there films he has done that I've liked? Yes. The other guys I thought was fun. Talladega Nights I thought was fun. Step Brothers grew on me a little bit. I don't mind that film if I watch it nowadays. Anchorman I'm not big on, let alone the sequel. And he did Get Hard with Kevin Hart, which is actually the same director of this film. Etan Cohen, which I know, well, he helped write Idiocracy. Yeah, but Mike Judge did the heavy lifting on that. Well, he helped write Tropic Thunder. Yeah, but Ben Stiller them did the heavy lifting on that. I damn well guarantee that. But the only film he directed was Get Hard, and that's not even one of the great Will Ferrell movies. Like, does anyone else remember Get Hard? I mean, it wasn't the worst movie I saw. Could I say it's a time waster? Maybe. I'd rather watch that than this film, I'll say that. But it wasn't like a film I was a big fan of. It's a film that, like, Get Hard was one of those I watch it, and then I don't think about. This was fucking terrible. This was fucking awful. And even Will Ferrell fans thought so. And that's the thing. If even the big Will Ferrell fans thought this was dog shit, as a guy who's not big on, and this is a guy that I like Land of the Lost. Land of the Lost, because I didn't grow up with the TV show. I know the theme song. The Land of the Lost. But I didn't grow up with the TV show, so I have no personal feelings on it because I didn't watch it. So I'm like, okay, I had some goofy, dumb fun with Land of the Lost. I did. I haven't seen it in a while, but I do remember liking it. And that was considered one of his worst. I'm like, I like that film, but no, this is easily one of Will Ferrell's worst movies. And then John C. Reilly's in it, because the two of them did Talladega Nights. They did Step Brothers. Those films made a lot of money. So that's why I'm sure the company said, Sony said, have at it. What do you want to do? You want to do, okay, a comedy version of Sherlock Holmes? Okay. And they do some of that. Remember the Robert Downey Jr., where he would think about what he's going to do and then go in slow-mo and you see the diagrams and stuff? They do that a couple times in this. So they're definitely referencing, which I like the Robert Downey Jr. one. The second one is there, but I quite like the first one. I'm surprised they never did a third one. He should have done that other than that stupid Dr. Dolittle movie. But anyway. Going back to this. This was just... Okay. If you want to see John C. Reilly lactate his nipples leak milk, if you want to see him get drunk and Will Ferrell go into a diagram about how his bladder is filling up and he's getting ready to piss and he pissed his pants... If you want to see or hear Will Ferrell, oh, I am Sherlock Holmes. Do this awful, terrible, fake, stupid accent for the entire movie? Well, cheerio, cheerio. I am Sherlock Holmes, and dear Watson, what do we... I'm like, this is what we're doing? Oh, Will Ferrell's got a funny accent. No, you don't. It's annoying. It's irritating. It makes my dick itch. I'm not going to scratch it on camera, though. No, it's not itching now because I'm not watching it right now. When I was watching, I was itching it. I'd rather put the finger up my ass. Just at least maybe I could get a tingle of laughter because I didn't with this fucking movie. And this film flopped. No wonder. This film was crucified by critics. No wonder. I can see why now. This may be the worst Will Ferrell film I've seen. Just, again, I'm not big on a lot of his films, but this may be the worst one. It's hard to think of a worse one than this. Because thank God it's only 90 minutes. That's maybe the positive I could give. It shows Sherlock at school when he was a kid. The kids are bullies. They throw his turtle and one of them thinks it's a fucking dog. He's blindfolded and tricked into kissing a donkey's ass. I'm surprised he didn't shit on the kid's face. With the kind of humor this film has. He cries, but then he uncries. And that's the closest it got to almost a smirk out of me, is the idea of uncrying and the tear going back up to go back into the kid's eye. And that's a way of him shutting off his emotions, thus he just starts his Sherlock ways. That almost got a smirk out of me. That maybe put that in a better movie. The uncrying, like the tear goes back up to... So... As a kid, he meets Watson. As a kid, he notices each of these kids' little details to get them expelled from school. Then it cuts to newspapers where a fucking rap song starts playing. Because when you think of Sherlock Holmes, you think of rap. But golly gee, don't the hip kids love the rap? Maybe now we're Sherlock fucking Holmes. Then we jump to Will Ferrell and Watson. They've made a name of themselves as Holmes and Watson. They've solved multiple crimes. People know who they are. The villain Moriarty is at large. It seems like he's been caught. He's on trial. There's no witnesses. And the judge is stalling for Sherlock Holmes to come in and do something so Moriarty doesn't get out of jail. But this is the type of humor this film has. Will Ferrell doing an awful, fake, terrible British accent that would be horrible to listen to on an SNL skit, but this is for 80 to 90 minutes that you gotta hear the stupid accent that he has. Then it's him trying on hats. Because the joke is, we gotta hurry to the trial, and Watson's trying to get him to hurry, but, dear Watson, how about this hat? How about this hat? And yes, this is one of those movies that has to go political and talk about Donald fucking Trump. Because one of the hats he tries is a orange-red hat that says, "Make England Great Again." Then there's a scene later on with him and these girls from America. He's talking, and they talk about how their system is a democracy, and they vote someone in, and Will Ferrell says, well, one of them say, well, hopefully a trumped-up charlatan will not gain power. And then the lady goes, well, not always, unfortunately. You get it? Trumped up. You get it? How democracy is not always great because you may vote for the wrong person. This movie, like, you had to do that. You had to put that into a Sherlock Holmes fucking comedy. Are you shitting my britches? Whether you like or hate Donald Trump, I don't want to hear that shit in a Sherlock Holmes fucking comedy. Why is that in there in the first place? Because Will Ferrell has a butt up his ass. Jesus Christ. That was like, I literally went. And yeah, I remember this is 2018 when this came out. Oh my Jesus fucking Christ. So he's trying all these hats, and then they get a present. They open up, a fly comes out. Apparently the fly has a poison. So the joke is they keep hitting each other trying to hit the fly. John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell keep hitting each other. Then they accidentally hit the housekeeper. And then there's, for some reason, they have a huge jar of killer bees. And he kills the fly, and they walk away, but it cracks, and there's these killer bees. And they jump out the window. You never know what happened to those killer bees, if they're running around killing people, if they're running around stinging people, if they were caught. Because they did do damage to people. I have loved ones that they did some damage to people, so... But you're not supposed to think about that idea because it's a comedy. Well, okay, when are you going to make me laugh? That's what comedy's supposed to do too, motherfucker. I don't know why I said it that way, but motherfucker. So they get to the trial. They say, that's not Moriarty. It's a guy who looks like Moriarty, which is played by Ray Fiennes. Ray Fiennes... A long way from the English Patient, ain't you? And this guy is not him, and he's pretty much a chronic masturbator. Cue the laugh track. Surprised it didn't have a laugh track. So then they say, oh, Moriarty, you don't have to worry about him. He's gone to America. The Queen invites him and Watson to her place. There's a birthday party, and they find a body and a cake. They gotta take the body to an autopsy. The joke here is that whenever they're near an autopsy, Will Ferrell will puke a lot. You don't see the puke, thankfully, but you hear a lot of the puke. They meet the two at the morgue, and like, oh my god, ladies? Ladies could be doctors? And you're from America? One is a lady who knows what she's doing, and she likes John C. Reilly. One is a girl who pretends to be stupid. I say that because at the very end you realize she was pretending all along. And Will Ferrell starts liking her. They look at the autopsy. Will Ferrell comes to the conclusion that the guy was poisoned. Then Will Ferrell dreams of that girl. John C. Reilly dreams of that doctor girl he likes, and they start playing strip chess. And then when he wakes up from the nightmare, it becomes a nightmare because he imagines Will Ferrell in a dress. Well, that'd be a nightmare for me too, so I don't blame John C. Reilly. John C. Reilly does what he can. But this is a terrible strip, terrible ideas, terrible comedy. John C. Reilly, I liked him as an actor. Like Coastal Island, he's really, really good in that. And he's doing other stuff. But he can't save this. And it looks like he didn't write the film. So, unless he came up with some of the bad ad-lib, which maybe he did, I can't blame him too much for the rest of it. So then Will Ferrell poisons him because he wants to look at how the poison works. But he didn't tell Watson, so this shows how much of a piece of shit this Sherlock Holmes is, because he poisons his friend. And I'm going to watch you. And that's where he starts doing all this weird stuff, and his nipples start lactating until he finally gives the antidote. So Like, first off, I don't like the characters as Will Ferrell, and 9 times out of 10, if Will Ferrell was playing someone, I'm not going to like him. It's very rare that I do. Then you have him be a piece of shit that's willing to poison his friend, because that's the comedy, folks. I almost killed my friend. And his nipples leaked milk. Then Will Ferrell says, you know what? It must be someone who is a tattoo artist. Because it's something to do with this ink. And then the way it's drawn and done, it must be a one-armed man. This ain't the fucking fugitive, motherfucker. But they go to this Stevie place. He puts horse shit on John C. Reilly as a disguise. You're a horse shit salesman. Which I didn't know that exists. But it's just more of just making Sherlock Holmes the most unlikable person on earth. They get drunk. That's where you get the diagram where he's thinking of how he's pissing, but he pisses his pants. Will Ferrell did. He probably does in real life too. They find the guy, and it's Steve Coogan, who's in the Jackie Chan film Around the World in 80 Days. And funny enough, he's uncredited in this. Because I know later on he talked about how much of a shitty movie this was. I'm like, did you read the script? But I guess, hey, get that paycheck when you can. Then you see the fake Moriarty there. Because Ray Fiennes plays both the fake and the real one that you see at the end of the film. And they go, you must fight this guy. So they think it's the one-armed guy, played by Steve Coogan. So John C. Reilly's like, I will do it. No, you're not going to fight me. You don't fight him. And it's Braun Strowman. Yes, the wrestler. I know my friend Bobby, very kind, generous subscriber. He's a big Braun Strowman fan. So, hey, Bobby, if you see this, you like Braun Strowman, you can find the clip on YouTube. You see Braun Strowman beat up John C. Reilly. And then Will Ferrell tries to do the thing like Robert Downey Jr. where he's going to do all this, but his plan doesn't work. So John C. Reilly comes in and beats him with like I forget what, beats it like a chair or something. And beats up Braun Strowman with a chair. Steve Coogan's ready to say something, but he gets stabbed in the back. The person, it's Ray Fiennes, the fake Moriarty. They stop him. They try to get some information out of him. Long story short, they spend some time with the two girls. That's where you have that thing about the trumped up charlatan from gaining power, like all that stupid shit. They go see Will Ferrell's brother, Sherlock Holmes' brother, played by Hugh Laurie, which I like Hugh Laurie. He was on the TV show House. I love the show House. I have them all on DVD. I love, let's see, Street Teens. He's in that. I liked him as an actor. Why couldn't he be Sherlock Holmes? You have to change the script because the script sucks, but why is it Hugh Laurie Sherlock Holmes? I don't understand that. Like, you tell me, you got, like, Hugh Laurie would have been a really good Sherlock Holmes, but you put him in this fucking scene for like a minute or two where him and Will Ferrell talk in psychic land. Just like they talk in each other's minds. Because they're smart. Hugh Laurie says more than likely the killer is someone that you know very closely, so then Sherlock Holmes thinks it's Watson. So Watson gets blamed as the killer, put in the jail. Will Ferrell thinks he solved the case. That he sees a picture. Then him and John C. Reilly, who's in jail, they go into a song. Yes, they sing. We have a song sequence. Will Ferrell is singing. John C. Reilly is singing from jail. And they sing for like 3-4 minutes. Sherlock Holmes has regained his emotional how you want to empathetic to people. So then he runs to help Watson, but Watson's gone. He sees crumbs of cake. He gets some help from these poor kids. One released another. The person who is doing this is the housekeeper. The lady we've seen throughout the film, the housekeeper. She's the daughter of Moriarty. So Sherlock was right. Moriarty was in America the whole time. It was the daughter of Moriarty. There's a bomb that's going to kill the Queen. Will Ferrell gets Watson out. Will Ferrell keeps trying to think of a plan, but he keeps getting distracted by it because he's horny. So John C. Reilly tries to come up with a plan. He can't do it because he can't do math. So he just runs, gets the bomb, throws it. The bomb goes to his little boat that the housekeeper's it. It blows up, kills her. I think there were other people on the boat. I don't know if they were bad guys too, because it would have killed them. I can't remember. So the Queen thanks them. Sherlock Holmes says they're going to be co-detectives. Oh, and the big joke here is that the boat that they're on, the ship that they're on, which the two American girls are going to be on, is the Titanic. So then Will Ferrell goes, whatever the name of Titanic comes up, they should remember the name Watson. Because Watson saved the Queen on the Titanic. Because she wished it well before the ship goes on its way. Also, Billy Zane is in this as himself. Just say, hey, Billy Zane! Because Billy Zane was in Titanic. But somehow this is the era of Sherlock Holmes, but he's playing himself. Yeah, I'm supposed to think about it logically. It's just stupid comedy. But it's stupid and unfunny. So the two ladies, I don't know. I guess they get killed on the Titanic, I guess. And then the last scene is Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly has followed Moriarty to America. And they're in a bar at the Wild West. And they're watching Moriarty as in, we're going to get you. I just thinking they're going to get a sequel. But it didn't. Because how much did this film make? Like nothing, but I'm just curious. It cost $42 million. But it only made, I just want to get my facts straight, $30 million in the US, $11 million in other territories. So it cost $42 million and it only made $41 million worldwide. And it won the Razzies for Worst Picture, Worst Director. I don't know if John C. Reilly deserved Worst Supporting Actor. I don't think his acting was bad. Will Ferrell was nominated but didn't win. Who the fuck won then? Like, I think John C. Reilly did better than Will Ferrell, because Will Ferrell's accent was way, way worse. But anyway. But yeah. $42 million it cost, and it only made $41 million worldwide. So you gotta think that budget, plus whatever marketing they put into, plus whatever the split that the theaters get, that the studio get, they lost a lot of money on this. This was a fucking catastrophe. And when the saving grace is it's short, it's not a good saving grace, is it? But yeah, this film was fucking horrible. It was terrible. As Charles Barkley would say, terrible. It just wasn't funny at all. The jokes were lame. The accents were terrible. The story was drifting through aimlessly. I don't know. I think the type of audience that would go to see Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, I don't know if that audience really gives a shit about Sherlock Holmes. I think that's a different, group of people, different fan base. I don't think they were looking for, hey, let's parody Sherlock Holmes. No one was asking for that. And if you don't want to do it, Then you got like Hugh Laurie and fuck, I would have liked Hugh Laurie and Billy Zane. So you got Billy Zane as Holmes and Watson. I'd actually like to see that more. There you go. Hugh Laurie and a mustache wearing Billy Zane as Holmes and Watson. And a different director, different writer, of course. But why I'd rather have that movie instead. But say John C. Like, all you have to do is say John C. Reilly lactates from his nipples. He just covered in horse shit. They hit each other because of a fly. The big joke is, there's the Titanic. Remember the Titanic? The story wasn't interesting. Will Ferrell was a very unlikable character. I see no reason to root for this character with how he poorly treats. Well, that's the arc. Even at the end, when he has the plaque, the joke is that his plaque is so much bigger and Watson's so much smaller. That doesn't forgo the fact that he put Watson in jail for really not much of any proof other than Hugh Laurie saying it's someone close to you. That could be as vague as possible. But yeah. At the end of the day, the worst sin a comedy can do. See, I can't even talk right. The worst sin a comedy can do is be unfucking funny, and this did that. So, they don't make a lot of good comedies nowadays. Like straight up, I'm not talking about action comedies. I'm talking horror comedies. I mean just straight up comedies. That's an art that's lost. I mean, back to the day, like the Big Lebowski. Hell, even Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke. Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. The Odd Couple. Even The Hangover, I like the first one. But yeah, just straight up comedies. I like Crocodile Dundee. I like Three Men and a Baby. See No Evil, Hear No Evil. Clerks. I just think it's some of my favorite comedies. I would don't say The Golden Child, but that's more like supernatural. I just think of like straight up comedies. No, you don't really see it nowadays because people don't know how to be funny. They either have to be too PC, or they gotta try to be fucking political. Like, what was that fucking film, Bros? That no one fucking remembers? Or they just think, I gotta be as gross as possible, and that means funny. Be as gross as possible. Okay. If you like that kind of stuff, the kind of stuff you like. It's not my favorite kind of thing, but there you go. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Movie fucking blows.